Hey there, welcome to LC Yoga. My name is Laura, and today we're doing a flowy total body practice that'll increase flexibility, but really that's just a happy side effect of releasing tension so we can really relax. So if you're ready, get on your mat and I'll meet you there. We'll begin today in standing at the top of the mat. So come to the front of your mat, stand tall. Feet can be wherever you want them to be, hip distance apart, together, whatever's comfortable for your hips. Roll the shoulders back. So lift the arms and just roll the shoulders back a couple of times. And then let them come to a still position, palms forward. Close the eyes or look down the nose at the ground out in front of you. Just take a second here to arrive on your mat in your practice. Let the breath start to deepen. Find all four corners of your feet. Press the toes down. Crown of the head lifts up and away from the heels. Before we start to move, we're just going to get in touch with movement and the breath. So as you inhale, you can open the eyes. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up toward the sky, little mini back bend. Palms come together. And as you exhale, bring the hands in prayer in front of the heart and all the way down. Let them keep going. And then sweep them out to the sides again as you inhale. Linking movement and breath. Inhaling and then exhaling down through center. Moving in super slow motion. And release the hands down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Keep going like that at your own pace. Filling the lungs on the way up, emptying them completely on the way down. A few more times like that. Inhaling through the nose, maybe exhaling through an open mouth. Make a sound. Last time, really slow. Deep breath in. And this time as you exhale with the palms together, bend the knees and start to fold forward. And just let the lungs empty. Coming down into a forward fold. Knees as bent as they need to be. Fingertips on the ground, maybe on the feet, maybe on the shins. You can even rest the elbows on the knees if you like. I'm not looking for the deepest stretch yet. We're not warmed up. Just letting the crown of the head get long as you turn the sit bones up toward the sky. So crown of the head reaching away from those sit bones. And let that be what starts to straighten the legs. I'm not pressing my nose toward my shin. Top of the head's going toward the ground. Hips high. We'll add a little movement here. So you can walk the hands over toward the left And adding a bit of a side stretch, getting in the IT band, and then walk them over toward the right. And do that a couple of times, just finding the stretch where you need it. And if you're up higher, you can lean the elbows on the knees to do this. Right. Just move in a way that feels good. It starts to open you up. Now, wherever you are, come on back to center. Bend both knees pretty deeply and place the left fingertips on the ground in front of your right toes. And then we're going to start to straighten the right leg, leaving the left bent as we turn and twist toward the right. Reaching the right arm up toward the sky, or maybe placing it on the hip if that feels better. Just getting an outer stretch in the outer leg. Deep breaths there. And then release that and take the other side. So right fingertips down, bending the right knee, working towards straightening the left leg. Doesn't have to straighten. And then come on back to center. Deep breaths and forward fold. And then as you inhale, fingertips on the ground or hands on the shin, come halfway up. And then place the fingertips on the ground as you step the left foot back into a lunge and lower the knee down. And then press the hands into the front thigh and come on up in Anjani Asana, low lunge. If this feels good, stay right here, just kind of sinking into the hips, pressing the left hip forward. And if you want to add a little bit of an arm flow, start to sweep the arms up toward the sky. Before we get into that, place the hands on the hips, come up out of the lunge, and then curl the tailbone, and then go back down into the lunge. And you may find that you like less crunching in the lower back. We don't want any of that. And then as you lift the arms, your chest goes up and away from your back foot. So you're pressing the hips forward, low back is long, and you're aiming the curve into the upper spine. Nice juicy back bend. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to twist toward the right and lower the arms into a T shape. Open that sideways. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward and then both arms up. And do that 2 more times. Exhaling, twist toward the right. Inhale, reach it forward and up. Exhaling, twist. This time coming forward and up, hang out there for just a breath. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down around the front foot. Lift the back knee off the ground and then start to lift the hips for pyramid pose. You may want to step your back foot in a little. Right knee is bent. All right, so start with that bend. Inhale, get long, crown of the head reaches toward the front of the mat. And then as you exhale, start to pull the hips back. And let that be what starts to fold you forward, pyramid. Okay, keep the knee as bent as it needs to be. So you can be working here. It can look more like a lunge, that's okay. We're just looking for a nice stretch in the back of the leg. Deep breaths. Now we're going to add a little flow here. So we're going to come down into a lunge, and you may want to step your back foot back a little to do this. Left fingertips down, and as you inhale, reach the right arm up and back toward the back of the mat. And then as you exhale, sweep that arm forward as you pull the hips up into pyramid pose. 2 more times like that. Inhaling, right arm goes forward, up and back. And exhaling, trace that half circle back to where you were, pyramid pose. 1 more time, inhaling, drop the hips. Exhaling, lift the hips up, pyramid. Then hang out here for 2 breaths. Now when you bend into the front knee, plant the hands and step back for a downward dog. Lift the hips up, knees can be bent. Press the fingertips into the ground. Maybe adding a little bit of a shoulder stretch by pressing your chest through your shoulders. Breathe deep. Relax your jaw. And then on your next inhale, start to ripple the spine, chin to chest, coming forward into a plank and then all the way down to the ground, lowering the knees if you'd like. Tops of the feet to the ground, and inhale it into a cobra. Press the hands down, chest up, looking down the nose. And then lower down, curl the toes under, lift the hips back up, downward dog. And on your next inhale, step to the front of the mat. Crown of the head reaches away from the sit bones, get long. And then exhaling, bow it forward, stretch it out. Bend into the knees, come up to stand, sweeping the arms to the sides and up. And then exhaling, bring it back to center. Hands in front of the heart. And take a few breaths here. Maybe close the eyes. And just notice how you feel. Maybe starting to get a little warm. Each time we go into a stretch, feels like it's going a little deeper. Opening the eyes, inhaling, sweep the arms out to the sides and up, and we'll take the other side. Exhaling, bend the knees, bending forward, forward fold. We'll hang out here in forward fold just like we did last time. So turn the sit bones up toward the sky. Crown of the head going toward the ground. Let the spine get long. And then you may want to add those side stretches. So walking the fingertips over toward the left. And then over toward the right. Just do that a few times at your own pace. Just finding what needs to stretch. And wherever you are, come on back to center. Hanging the head heavy. And then inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, step the right foot back into a lunge and lower the knee down. Press the hands into the front thigh and come on up. Pressing the right hip forward this time. Start to let the hips get heavy. And you can hang out right here if you'd like. If you want to add the arm flow, it adds a bit of a back arch. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to back up out of the lunge, curl the tailbone. So that means lifting the pubic bone, tailbone goes down. And start to come back into the lunge. Long, lower back, feeling protected. And then as you lift the arms up, the chest goes up and away from the back toes as they press into the ground. Deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, twist toward the left, arms into a T shape. Inhaling, sweep the left arm forward and up. And exhaling, you twist. Inhaling up. And exhale. This time as you inhale and sweep the arms forward and up, hang out there for just a breath. Hips get heavy. And then exhale, bring the hands down by the front foot. Lift the back knee and start to come into pyramid pose, maybe stepping the back foot in a little. Then we're pressing the front toes down, pulling the back or the left hip away from that. Knee can be bent. Deep breaths into the back of the leg. And then we'll add that flow. You can feel free to hang out right here if you don't want to go with me. Otherwise, step the back foot back a little bit. And then as you inhale, left hand goes forward and up as you drop the hips, and hand goes back toward the back of the mat. As you exhale, trace that same circle, hips start to lift, and you're back in pyramid pose. Inhaling, bend into the lunge, reach it up and back. Exhaling, coming forward, pyramid. One more time like that, inhaling and exhaling. A couple of big breaths here, stretch it out. And then bend into that knee, plant the hands and step it back, downward dog. Again, we're going to press the chest through the shoulders. Get that nice shoulder stretch in there. Press the fingertips into the ground. If this isn't working, feel free to take a regular downward dog here. And then on your next inhale, we're going to inhale it into a plank, so rounding the spine, coming forward. Head is the last thing to come up. Lowering the knees, lower all the way to the ground. This time we're going to tent the fingertips to the left and to the right. And as you inhale into cobra, exhale and look over your right shoulder. Your left shoulder comes forward. Inhale through center, and then exhale, look over your left shoulder. A couple more times like that. Inhaling to center, exhaling to twist. This time, press the hands into the ground under the shoulders, and then lift up into cobra as high as it feels good in your body, pressing the hips down. Curl the toes under, and then lift them up, downward dog. And then completing the cycle, we'll step it to the front of the mat, lifting halfway up, and exhaling to fold forward. Bending into the knees and come on up to stand, lift up. And then exhale it back to center. Close the eyes. Now this time we're going to step out with the right foot. So you're facing the long side of the mat. Turn your feet into turnout and bend into the knees. And from here, we're going to do a little bit of side bending. So you're going to place the left elbow on the left thigh and then reach the right arm up toward the sky. You can hang out right there, or maybe the arm goes overhead and you're dropping the right hip down. Turning the heart up toward the sky. And then on your next inhale, come on back to center and keep going. Go all the way to the other side. And then inhale it back to center. Straighten the arms, or straighten the legs. Arms go into cactus arms, and add a little bit of back bend there. And then come on back, rebending the legs. We'll do that again. Inhaling over toward the left. Exhaling over toward the right. We're going to do that a few more times. So we're going a little faster this time. Inhaling. Each time you turn the heart up to the sky. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Coming back to center, legs straight and cactus arms, arch it. And then this time as you exhale, fold forward. toes facing forward, or whatever position feels good for your feet and ankles. Bend into the knees as much as you need to. Bring the hands to the ground so you can be working here. And what we're doing is the same thing we did in forward fold at the front of the mat. Turn the hips up toward the sky, and that's what lengthens the backs of the legs. You can bring the hands under the shoulders, on the feet, behind you, whatever feels good. And then your next inhale, bring the hands under the shoulders. We'll add a little bit of a twist. So left hand under the heart. And start to twist toward the right. Right fingertips go up toward the sky. Hand can be on the hip, just like we did earlier, if that feels better. Again, knees can be bent here. And release that and just take the other side. And then release, coming back to center, and start to walk the hands over toward the left as you bend into the left knee. We're going to take Skandasana here. So as you come onto the toe mounds, the hip starts to come toward the heel. You can stay on the toe mounds. Left toes go up toward the sky. Maybe the heel comes to the ground, maybe not. And then reach your left fingertips out toward the left. And your right up toward the sky. Skandasana. If that doesn't work for your shoulder, you may want to leave the hands in prayer here. Your choice. If the arms are together, release, bring them into prayer. Wherever you are, just sit down. And then we're going to stretch that leg out so we're in Upavishta Konasana, or wide-legged forward fold. So the legs can be closer together or further apart. Rock the hips so you can start to kind of tilt the pelvis forward. Feel free to bend the knees. Place the fingertips behind, and we're just going to start to lean forward. And we're not looking to round here. We're really trying to tilt the pelvis forward. That's where the good stretch is. Back is nice and long. If your body lets you in, then you can bring the hands forward, but still pressing the chest forward, not trying to bring my nose to the ground. Deep breaths in the backs of the legs. Walk the hands back up, and we're going to add a side bend here. So bend into the right knee. Bring your elbow to the ground, or to just press it to the inside of that knee. And then lift your left arm up toward the sky. So you can open it like a wing, so it turns your heart up. That protects the back and side bends. So turning up, you're using your elbow like a lever to twist you up. You can hang out right there, or start to let the arm go overhead. Some people can grab the foot, go for it if you want to do that. I find it misaligns my spine, so I like to hang out here. Close the eyes, don't worry about what it looks like, just drop the left hip down, open the side waist. And then on your next inhale, come on back to center, and we'll take the other side. So left elbow down, right arm opens like a wing. Maybe it goes overhead. Dropping the right hip down. And then come on back to center. Grab the backs of the knees and start to bring the legs in towards you. And we're going to curl the right foot in so it's next to your left hip. And your what did I say? Your right foot in, your left hip, your left foot goes up and over your knee. So seated spinal twist. So your left knee is going up toward the sky and over toward the right. And you're going to pull it that way with your hand or your arm. You can wrap it around, and then the left fingertips go behind like a post. And you inhale, get tall, long spine. And then as you exhale, start to twist toward the left. You're twisting from the belly button here, not the shoulders. Hang out there if that feels good. Maybe the elbow comes to the outside of the knee. Not required. Only reason to go deeper into a pose is because you're not feeling much. Not trying to get a certain shape. And then release that. Take a nice little counter twist in the other direction. And then we're going to simply move into double pigeon. So the shins are stacking here as much as they can. Maybe placing something between the knee and the ankle. But we're stacking knees and ankles here and flexing the feet. And we're just going to start to tip forward here again, placing the fingertips behind and chest goes forward. Deep breaths into the hips. Just let gravity do its thing. No need to force. If the hands come forward, that's fine, but keep the chest pressing forward so you keep that lower back long. And then walk the hands back up, releasing that. Let the right leg go long along the mat and bring your left foot to the inside of that thigh. Again, bending into the knee here. And this time, pick your right hip up and scoot it back and away from your foot. That starts to tilt us forward, and you can place the hands around the front leg for Janu. Maybe the hand comes to the outside of the foot. I find that gives me a nice little stretch in the lower back on the left side. Close the eyes, continuously pressing the foot as if it's pressing into a wall, pulling the hip back and away from that. And then release that, come on up to sit. And we're going to go back out the way we came in. So we're going to come back in a Skandasana. So we're going to bring that left foot kind of perpendicular to your right leg and start to bring the weight up onto it. So you're back in Skandasana, your own variation of it. And then place the hands on the ground, lift the hips up, and come back to a forward fold, wide-legged. Inhaling to get long in the spine, and we're simply going to take the other side. So come on down, bending the right knee. Left toes go up toward the sky. You can stay on the toe mounds, or maybe the heel comes down. Right fingertips out toward the right, left go up toward the sky. Maybe the hands are in prayer. That works just as well. Wherever you are, sit down. Let the right leg go out, so we're back in Upavishta Konasana, wide-legged forward fold. And same thing, we might be a little more open this time, but we're going to place the fingertips behind and just kind of test that out. Knees can be bent here. You can even place something under the knees if that makes it more comfortable, if you're feeling tighter. Start to rock the pelvis forward, coming onto the front of the pelvis. Maybe the hands come out in front, maybe not. Just pressing the chest or the top of the head forward. And come on up and we'll take those side bends. So right side first, right elbow down, left arm goes up. And then overhead, dropping the left hip down. Turning the heart up toward the sky continuously. And then come on up and take the other side. Left hand down, right arm up. Oh, as it goes overhead, drop the right hip. And then come on up. Bring the knees closer together. Left foot by the right hip. See if we can get it right this time. Right foot goes over the left knee, and then that top knee goes up and over toward the left. Pull it in with your hand, or maybe wrap your arm around. And then inhale to get tall as the right fingertips are behind. And exhaling, you twist. And you're pulling that knee continuously away from the hip. That's where the good twist is. And that'll allow you to twist from the belly button. Find the arm variation that works for you. No tweaking in the shoulders. Relax your jaw and that space between your eyebrows. And then release. Take a nice little counter twist in the other direction. And then take double pigeon. So we're stacking elbows, ankles and knees. This is one of those days. Flex the feet. Again, placing something between your knee and ankle if that feels better. If it's kind of floating there and it doesn't feel good, we want to protect the knees. Hips going out behind, fingertips back there, pressing the chest forward. Close the eyes and breathe deep into the hips. And come on back up. I don't know about you, but I could stay there all day. Let your left leg go out long in front of you. Right foot into the thigh. Bend into the knee and scoot your left hip back and away from your left heel. Starting to fold forward. Deep breaths into the back of the left leg. Maybe you grab the foot. Maybe you don't. Keeping the knee bent rather than rounding the spine. Pressing the chest forward. And then release that. Let both legs go long out in front of you. Scoot the hips forward. And then roll down onto the back. Draw the knees in toward the chest. And we'll take a twist in each direction and then relax in Shavasana. So from here, you can let the legs go over toward the left. Just drop the knees left. Maybe scoot the hips a little more towards center. Arms out into a T shape and look toward the right. If the knees are floating, you might want to place something underneath to keep both shoulders on the ground. If this doesn't feel like much, maybe stretch the bottom leg long and draw the top knee across with your left hand. Close the eyes. Breathe into the side waist. Now your next inhale, come on back to center. Draw those knees back in toward the chest and let them go over toward the right. Scooting the hips more towards center. Arms in a T shape, looking left. Both shoulders on the ground. Maybe that bottom leg stretches long and you draw the top across. Release that, come on back to center, let the legs go long out in front of you. Feet about the width of the mat, let those feet flop open. Hands flop open, palms to the sky for Shavasana. Close the eyes and let everything sink down into the earth. There's no more work to do. There's nowhere to go. You still feel tension anywhere, just scan the body and then release those muscles that are tightening up. Whether it's your feet or your calves, your hips or your shoulders, the neck, facial muscles, just let it all sink down. And you can stay here as long as you like. When you're ready, start to bend into the knees, bring the feet to the floor, knees up to the sky. Bring the hands to the upper thighs and knock your knees together. Start to deepen the breath. And then make your way on up to sitting. Maybe squeeze the knees in toward the chest. Roll on up to sit. Find a comfortable seat. Simple cross-legged, half lotus, whatever you'd like. Palms up toward the sky, backs of the hands to the knees. Close the eyes. The gift of yoga is the release of tension so that we can relax. And we get a little exercise and we get a little flexibility along the way. That's just a happy side effect. The real goal is to develop the ability to release tension and intentionally relax. So enjoy this feeling and take it with you out into your day or evening. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed today's class and you're looking for more, join me over on lcyoga.com. There you're going to find lots of classes and content that doesn't exist here on YouTube. Longer classes, complete beginner series, intermediate flows, lots of content that is commercial free and exclusive to the website. So if you're ready, join me on lcyoga.com and I'll meet you there.